Good morning, everybody. It's hard to not have to jump on real quick and do a quick shout out and news recap on what just happened. On the 36th year anniversary of when dictator Noriega was taken out to the day, Maduro was snatched up from Venezuela and flown out and is currently on board a ship on the way to New York to be arraigned. Um, Whenever special operations units, true professionals, do their thing, it it is always impressive. It is impressive when guys who are true professionals go in and do the things they've been training to do. And as far as I can tell, none of them were hurt. None of them on our side were killed or injured. Thank God for that. But it's got to make you proud as an American. Here you have what is verifiably a bad guy, narco terrorist, something even the Democrat Party said he was, a narco terrorist, at least until Trump took office. Then all of a sudden, there are all these poor, misunderstood people around the world. And it's extremely hard to see, although, of course, they will, how the political left in Europe, EU, and obviously America will see this as a terrible thing that we got a narco terrorist removed alive, went in, minimal casualties, and took him out alive. That is damn impressive. And it should send a signal to every other bad guy around the world that we're actually in business of trying to make this a better place. Almost a month ago, U.S. carrier forces arrived off the coast of Venezuela, mostly to respond to some of the narco traffic boats, and as we all seen them start to be taken out of the water, which is pretty damn awesome. Then at the same time, it was clear from President Trump that he wanted Maduro out. Delta Force were the ones who went in and finally took care of that. Of course, they trained like special forces operators always do. They built a mock up of the house he lived in. And I would have thought that Maduro would have stayed in a compound or somewhere heavily reinforced, was surrounded by guards and guards and guards. But they went in, they suppressed all the counter air assets Venezuela had, as you usually do. Fly in, fast rope, distract, take out secondary targets of those who could possibly respond. They got him out, flew him out, and then they blew up the Hugo Chavez Memorial on the way out, which I will always find fun. This was Delta operation. Even the Coast Guard was involved. A lot more is going to come out about how they did this, but they did a damn good job. There's apparently a few injuries, and maybe we lost a helo, but no deaths and nothing significant. Uh, Damn amazing operation. I can't wait to hear more about that. But it really shows what we can do when we put our mind to it and put the professionals in charge. It is impressive that U.S. forces did what they did, the way they did it, as fast as they did it, and don't think it was an accident that the CIA and others got the previous winner of the election. Remember, Maduro is not actually legitimately in power. He stole the election, but stealing elections is one of those things that are apparently contentious these days since it happened here as well. But anyway, that being what it is, congratulations to everybody in uniform who's involved and got home safe. And if you haven't heard, the last order Trump he gave the guys when they were on the way out, they picked up Maduro and his wife and they flew out on the way out, was to blow up the Hugo Chavez Memorial. Just like one last FU. If you don't think we have leaders with a sense of humor, I'm sorry. Well, blowing up a dead guy is not the worst thing we could do, but he was the previous dictator. And just to blow it on the way out. This is almost a Family Guy episode. But when I heard that was hilarious. But anyway, we did what we did. And now, of course, we'll see if we can get, or if we can get the duly elected president installed. And it's overwhelming still. It is. And of course, the vice president, who was not elected but appointed, of Venezuela, is in Moscow. I'm sure this also has something to do with it for a while. And a couple of weeks ago, Trump did talk to Maduro and told them it was time to go. And it's time for the narco cartels to go. At least feel the pain. And people are dying around the world from drugs. And people, especially obviously the left in America, who has a soft spot for criminals and rapists, nothing new there. They also have one for drug dealers. And even if you say, well, they deal drugs, people buy drugs voluntarily, well, they don't. For some, this is not the party in the 80s where people are doing coke for fun. People are dying because of the drug trade, human trafficking because of the drug trade, sex slavery because of the drug trade. So much horror around the world is coming from these people and these cartels. It's verifiable. The human tragedy that has unraveled over the past century because of the drug trade that seems to run rampant. Look at Mexico, and I'm sure there are people in uniform that are looking at Mexico and its cartels right now. And you have unrest in Iran right now. You have a lot of countries that are run by very unscrupulous, bad, dictatorial people who have unrest right now. Isn't that a wonderful change compared to how it was the 4 years under Biden or the 8 years under Obama, when it was color revolution after color revolution that further destroyed and eroded the borders of Europe and the safety of European women and children? Isn't it nice to see now maybe it's the bad actors who's having their chains rattled a little bit? I guess leadership actually matters. Actually matters who's in charge. And I don't care if you voted for or like Trump or not. This is something that should be done. And the way this was done was exceptionally excellent. And once again, I cannot wait for the post-mortem of this. I cannot wait to see how they did it and what they did and what comes next. And I truly wish and hope for the very best for the people of Venezuela. And now maybe it's time for you to have a better destiny than the one under cartels and Maduro, not having been there. But I look forward to speaking to somebody from Venezuela about that situation there. But I guess the Europeans finally found something to agree with the Russians on, except buying and selling Russian oil, of course, is that this was bad. This was undemocratic. So removing a dictator is now bad in a, I would say, bloodless operation that didn't involve any kind of invasion force or anything. This was so damn excellent. This is what professionals do and what they train for. And I'm proud of wearing a uniform the same as them. Anyway, happy damn Saturday. You can say a lot, but you can't say we don't live in entertaining times. Peace out.